Hey guys, welcome to another Anime Kingdom discussion slash review. Today's discussion slash review will be on episode 8 of No Game, No Life. So the episode starts off with them being in front of the Eastern Federation's embassy building. And of course, Steph is getting, as usual, like, what are we doing here? Getting all scared. This is enemy soil. And what she doesn't know is that Sora already has an appointment, and then all of a sudden the assistant ambassador Ino Hatsun comes out and is like, "Welcome," and he talks about. he gets like, I guess what you want, you're here for is to see the ambassador, and Steph gets all scared. She's like, "Oh my gosh, they can read minds," because of course what they said before is that war beasts can read minds. So after that, Sora says that he was in the library of the palace when he saw Eno at the embassy building. So he gestured, and that's how they made he made the appointment pretty much. And then, of course, Steph after is like, the war beasts have heightened senses, so of course maybe he can see Sora, but how did Sora see him? And of course after that they go in the building to this huge room where they see this huge, TV, like this screen, TV screen kind of thing. And then, of course, Jibril, being as curious as always, she always wants to learn new things. She's like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And she really wants to know, of course. And it's always funny to see that. And then after that, they go inside an elevator, and then they actually start. I guess Sora really didn't make an appointment. He was just waving, but that's why Eno is like, next time, can you please make an appointment, because there's some of the war beasts are still kind of mad about the incident, and the incident was Steph talks about it was a construction war. They're called construction wars between them because Imadi felt like they can't have their palace smaller than an embassy building, so they start making it bigger. So the embassy makes theirs bigger, and it keeps going until in the end, the war beasts win because they have a more advanced technology, so they're able to construct faster and better. So after that, get to the top floor or whatever floor it is, and Eno goes to get the ambassador, and after that, Sora explains because Jibril and Steph wants to know how he saw him, and then in actuality, he showed him his phone, and it showed him. He couldn't really see, the expression or anything. He just saw that it was Eno, but he didn't know if he could see him or not, and he just took a guess and just waved. So he pretty much bluffed a mind reader, which was pretty funny. Like what the heck? That's all he did. He just really guessed, pretty much a gamble. And then after that, he appears with Izuna Hatsu, who is the ambassador, which is a really cute, lowly um, animal. Got the cat ears and the tail and everything, animal tail. And then all of a sudden, Sora and Shiro are like instantly on her, petting her, like, "Oh, so cute," blah 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 blah, and it's just so funny. And then all of a sudden, Izuna starts calling them, "Asshole, why are you touching me all of a sudden?" and saying "please" at the end of each sentence, and and then they're like, "What the heck?" and then they're all scared, like -50 cuteness points, which is really funny, and they state that saying sorry at the end of the sentence doesn't make it polite, and then comes out after saying she's still learning Imadi's language, so and then it's super funny because he busts out like his shirt, all tick, like super tick, super big, and he's like, "If you ever do anything like that again, like touch her, then I will rip you in half." And then he goes back to normal. It's like they're like, "Oh, what the heck?" Now I see where she gets it from. It was really like, what the heck? Just super tick. And then after that, the meeting starts, and they're at the tables talking, and Sora challenges Eno to a game. And the thing that's funny is that if they win, they get Izuna's panties. But if he wins, he gets Steph's panties. And Eno gets super mad again, gets all super tick again. and he punches the table like, what are you, blah, 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 blah. And then, so Shido offers Jibril's panties instead. She's like, and she's like, oh, okay, I want this. And then he still was pissed off, so he's like, oh, okay. Sora's like, okay, do you want Shido's panties then? But that's kind of a weird. You want an 11-year-old's panties? That's sick, old man. And he's still all mad. And then he's like, Sora's like, unless you want mine. And it was super, super gay. And he was all like, and then his glasses like crack, and then Sora's like, oh, but I'm not gay though, so blah 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 blah. And it's really just, it's so stupid. After that, Sora states that if he could really read minds, then he would have accepted the challenge. Because the panty game, because of course he could wipe his mind, and that's what the War Beasts are really doing. And, they would want to wipe his mind because Sora knew what they were really doing wasn't mind reading, it was code reading, and of course Sora was an expert at it already. And then all of a sudden it shows like could see his heartbeat, and then he's like, "Can you tell him that?" He states that he's now if I'm bluffing or not. And so after that, stating that it isn't mind reading, Sora and Shido make a challenge between nations, and for everything that the Eastern Federation owns on the continent. And then after that, of course, like everyone's like, "What the heck?" Well, most of these staffs are like, "What the heck?" Which is normal pretty much already. And then Sora begins giving answers to questions that he gives. The first question was being, why do they wipe the memories of the game? And the answer was because if they don't, they won't be able to win every time, because then the people would know what the game was. So, question 2 was, why did the Elven Guard challenge him 4 times? And the answer to that one was because they were trying to figure out why they were losing, why people were losing, anyone was losing. And since in comparison to Elkia, the kingdom, they have a huge territory, of course. So they had some to spare, and they were willing to lose some for the research. So after the first loss, it meant that it was pretty much, it had to have been a game that you couldn't use magic, because, of course, the elves are best in magic. So they can't lose that. So it has to be a game that you can't use magic. So the second time, they came up with a plan this time, instead of just expecting to be able to use magic or something. They came with a plan, and it still failed. So the third time, they finally figured out the game somehow. He doesn't really Sora states he doesn't know how, but they figured it out. So the fourth challenge, they still lost, and that's not the thing anyway. It doesn't matter that they lost again. Why they lost. It was actually the fact that, why did they stop after the fourth time, even though they finally figured out, what the game was. And because you don't quit when you know the game. That also meant that they didn't know how they lost, and to know the game but not know how you lost, that's weird. So after that, he states, how Jibril challenged him before, of course, but why did she know? She didn't, know what the big screen was in the front, and that means that she'd forgotten, which means that was linked to what the game was. So Sora states that if a Fugo like Jibril doesn't know about it, then the only country with an advanced technology that, that's the only thing, advanced technology, that everyone else doesn't have, it has to be video games, because it has to do with a screen, and it's a game, of course, so it has to be video games. And in video games, you're the master, you could cheat and everything, because you know what the game is while everyone doesn't. And then after that, Sora starts talking about how mind reading is just a way that it's pretty much a front, so that they don't look more into the truth about it, about the video games in actuality, and they just think that it's because they can read minds, and that's pretty much why. But then he says that they're lying and they can't read minds, but when in actuality is that they could tell that, oh wait, sorry. The last question is how did they figure out all of this, right? And of course, it was of course because of the old king, but Eno was like, but we made the old king pledge that, in his mind he was thinking, it can't be that because he made the old king pledge that he couldn't tell anyone about for the rest of his life. And of course, the flaw in that is that it doesn't mean he can't tell anyone after he's dead, which of course that wasn't the problem. The real thing was that why would they have a pledge that he can't tell anyone? Why? Which because they can't really read minds. And since they can't really read minds, they have to make it so make him so he can't tell anyone about it. And so after that, Sora epically challenges him, and this time he's like, he raises the stakes and adds another bet, thing to on the bet, and it's his race piece. He's betting all of humanity, all of their kingdom, every single human there, and that's what he bets, because the only way for Eno and the Eastern Federation to get away is to run away and just say that it's his imagination, But why would they run away from and decline something like this big? They can't. If they decline something this big, then that means that, Sora's theory is correct, and they can't really read minds, and that it's video games is what the game is. So they have to challenge him. And of course, that's when they conclude the meeting, because Sora states that he knows that a game on this scale that Eno can't agree on it by himself. So he's like, we could do this another day. So after that, Sora appears with, all of them appear back in the castle in the throne room, and all of humanity, like a bunch of people, are like on the front gates, like, stop that fool king, and blah 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 blah. And of course, Steph is like, well, how could you do this? Why would you do this? Blah blah blah. And all this all that kind of stuff, and then after that, they talk about why and stuff. And then Sora talks about, all of a sudden starts talking to, like, I don't know, some random person. He can't even, Shido doesn't see her either. It's like talking about how he's keeping him waiting, and he knows what he wants, what they want, and then he stands up, talks to Shido, and it's all glitchy. It's like, I don't know. It's pretty weird, and says how he believes in her and how he's gonna bring the last piece that they need, to bring down the Eastern Federation. And then after he starts walking away, and Shido's all yelling at Nee, and he disappears. And after that, the very end, it has Shido waking up in bed, and Sora is nowhere to be found. So she starts crying, and Steph comes into the room. Oh, what's wrong? And she, Shido asks, where's her knee? Her brother. Where's Sora? And of course, Steph's all of a sudden like, who's Sora? That is a name, right? And like, so it means that no one remembers who he is. And it leaves off at that huge cliffhanger, which I'm just like, oh my gosh, really? Dang it. I really, it really makes me want, I can't wait till the next episode. I want to know why Sora disappeared. I want to see the game. It's a video game, come on. That's always fun to watch, a video game. And like, I just can't wait to see how epic it is, because after the last two fights they already had, the two games, the big ones, the chess one and the word game one, oh my gosh, they've been so epic. It's so crazy. I really can't wait for that. So that's the end of my discussion. I give this episode a 7 out of 10, I would say, because it's pretty much just a build up. They had a little comedy and stuff, but it's pretty much just a build up to the episode, which I'm pretty sure will be a lot better. So that's the end of my discussion / review. As I said before, comment below what you thought about the episode. If I missed anything, what you thought about this, what I thought about this. Ask me questions, what I thought about this or that, because this is a discussion, guys, and you know, I would love to answer your questions or talk with you what you thought about it, and then also talk about what what you are excited for the next episode, because I really cannot wait for the next episode. Next episode, I'm pretty sure will be like really really good. And well, that's the end of this discussion slash review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time, bye guys.